everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would go over my CD collection today just because I felt like it. I just wanted to. I think collecting CDs in 2025 is not like, there's not a massive amount of people doing that. It's probably a minority of people. But I personally really like physical media. I like to have something physical and tangible in my hands when I spend money, if possible. And also something that can't just be taken away from me, because with physical media, if you buy these songs, they can't be taken away from you if you buy a CD. And you can do what you want with that CD. You can rip the CD and then put all of those songs onto an iPod or MP3 player if you wanted to. You may be thinking, who does that anymore? But I want to. I don't have an iPod anymore. I had an iPod Nano years ago, but I don't now. But I would really like to get an iPod again, specifically to listen to music on, so that I can get rid of Spotify. Because I don't really like subscription services, to be honest with you, and I would like to be subscription service free. But anyway, that's a video for another time. So yeah, I like to collect physical media because then I can have something tangible in my hands, but also because of the memories that are associated with it. Because when I buy a CD, I often remember where I was, or why I picked it up, or, you know, who I was with and all that sort of thing. Whereas if I buy things online, or I just buy, you know, a digital download or stream music, I'm much less likely to remember the experience, you know, the first experience of listening to the album and things like that. Or, you know, there's less memories associated with it. And also, like, your physical media collection is kind of like a representation of who you are in a way. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is there's two artists in particular that I have a lot of albums from. So I'm going to go over them two first, and then we'll move into everything else, just to kind of, yeah, I just feel like that's probably the easiest way to do it. So first of all, I have 1989 by Taylor Swift. I remember buying this in 2014. I must have been about 16 or something. I remember seeing this in the store. I remember where I was when I saw it, and I basically picked this up because I really liked the song Blank Space, and I remember listening to it in the car with my dad, because my dad drove me there and back. We didn't go there specifically to get this, but I saw it there. And I remember my first experience listening to this album as a result, and this is what I mean about physical media and intention and being intentional. I don't think I would remember my first experience listening to this album if I hadn't bought it in a store and listened to it in the car on the way back, and gone through the motions of putting the CD in the CD player and all of that sort of thing. Because I do not remember my first experience listening to 90% of all of these other albums. It's mostly just this one. I have vivid memories. Also, it's probably because of how much I loved this album upon first listen. So yeah, I obviously love Blank Space. Style is my favourite song on the album. I absolutely love Style. From like the first couple notes, I knew that I absolutely loved that song. Out of the Woods is another top favourite of mine. I also love All You Had to Do Was Stay, I Wish You Would, Wildest Dreams, How You Get the Girl. You know, love this album. It's so good. It's one of my top favourite albums of all time. And I also have 2 copies of Taylor's version of the album. Yeah. I have 2 copies because I couldn't decide which version I wanted, which is a bit silly, but yeah. Don't worry, this isn't like a common occurrence, unless I have a good reason for having more than one version, which you'll see. We'll get into that. But anyway, then I have Lover. This is probably my favourite album in terms of like how the CD looks. Look how pretty that is. So yeah, Lover, love this album. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince is my favourite album. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince is my favourite song on this album. Then I have Red, Taylor's version. All Too Well 10-minute version is my favourite song on this. I can tell you that right away. But I also love State of Grace and Red a lot. Great album. Love that album. I don't have all of Taylor's albums, but yeah, there is like a couple more albums of hers I'd like to get. But then I have Midnights. Really like this album as well. My favourite songs are Lavender Haze, Maroon, Anti-Hero, and Snow on the Beach. Then again, I really like You're on Your Own, Kid. That's a great song. And Question and Midnight Rain. I really like all of the songs on this album, basically, is what I'm saying. Then I have the Tortured Poets Department. So this is the version that has the manuscript on as like the bonus track, but I also have the anthology version. The reason I have 2 copies of this album is because at the time when this came out, the anthology version hadn't been released physically, so that's why I have this. Yeah, Fortnight is one of my favourite songs on this. Fresh Out the Slammer, I love that. Also Guilty as Sin, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, The Alchemy, The Albatross as well. I love that. I really like this whole album. This not everyone loves this album of Taylor's. I remember when it released and there was a lot of people saying it was really boring, which if you're not into sad, depressing, hot, like really like vulnerable music, then you probably won't like this, but I really like that sort of thing. I love this album. It's one of my favourites of Taylor's. It's definitely her most vulnerable piece of work, in my opinion, in terms of like a full album. So next artist I have a load of albums from is One OK Rock. They're my favourite band. Taylor Swift is my favourite solo artist. One OK Rock is my favourite band. So yeah, they're a Japanese rock band and I love them, obviously. So the oldest album of theirs I have is Jinsei Kakete Boku wa, which is basically the album that kind of made them kind of known globally. And it's also one of their better albums. I really like this album a lot. Clock Strikes, The Beginning, Be the Light, those are, oh, and Deeper Deeper. Those are probably my favourite songs on this album. It's really good. Then we have 35 and the deluxe edition. Now the reason I have both of these and not just the deluxe edition is because, for example, Cry Out on the Japanese version obviously has Japanese in it, whereas the international version, all of the songs are just fully in English. There's no Japanese on any of them, but also there's a section of the song that's different on the deluxe version and on the Japanese version. So my favourite songs are Cry Out, Mighty Long Fall, Good Goodbye, and Fight the Night. Good Goodbye is not one of their most popular songs. It's actually an acoustic song, but it's one of my top favourite songs of theirs. I really like it. I think it's mostly because of Taka's high notes at the end. He's such an amazing singer, by the way. He's a really good singer. Then we have Ambitions, Japanese version and international version. Now, okay, so the reason that I have the Japanese and international version of this album and basically all the other albums going forward is because they basically do not have the same track list. So there's certain songs that are on the Japanese versions of their albums that are not on the international version and vice versa. I don't know why they do this. But also, sometimes I don't really know whether I prefer the English versions of their songs or the Japanese versions, so I just get both and then I have either or and I can listen to whatever I feel like listening to at the time. Most of the time I prefer their Japanese versions of their songs. My favourite songs on this album are Taking Off and We Are. Those are definitely my top 2 favourites. We Are is honestly one of their best songs. I think it's probably one of their best songs to listen to if you don't know who One OK Rock are. If you look up on YouTube, One OK Rock, We Are, 2018 Ambitions Tokyo Dome performance, Maybe, you know what, I'll link it in the description. If you're interested in checking them out, then please feel free to do so. I highly recommend. With One OK Rock, the best way to listen to their music is through their live performances. They are very good. Then we have Eye of the Storm, Japanese version and English version again, for the same reasons as Ambitions. Again, there's some songs that are on this that are not on there and vice versa. I think it's just one song, but still. This is probably my least favourite One OK Rock album. My favourite song is Stand Out Fit In. I still like this album, but yeah, it's probably my personal least favourite overall out of all of them. But Stand Out Fit In is an amazing song. Then we have Luxury Disease, Japanese version and international version again. This is basically the album that got me into One OK Rock. So this is one of my top favourites. This and the next one that I'm going to show you are my two favourite albums of theirs. My favourite songs on this one are Save Yourself, Vandalize, Let Me Let You Go, Mad World, and Gravity are probably my top favourite ones. Yeah, this is a really, really, really good album. I love that album. Next we have Detox. So yeah, again, Japanese and international version. I think actually this does have the same track list, so I didn't need to get both of these. But you just never know with One OK Rock. So, but yeah, my favourite songs are Dystopia, Tropical Therapy, Puppets Can't Control You, and Plus Matter. This is a really good album. All of the songs on this are really good. Dystopia is one of my top favourite songs of theirs. The way it sounds, it's just amazing, and I also love the message of that song. I love the message of a lot of One OK Rock songs. They're very, they've got very powerful messages that I think a lot of people can relate to. But Dystopia is literally about finding euphoria within dystopia. So dystopia being the society that we live in, you know, this world that we live in. Not so much the world itself, so much as the structure, the capitalist structure that we live in, essentially, is what the dystopia is that they're referring to. Basically about the struggle of trying to find happiness and contentment, I suppose, in this world that we live in, because it's not easy sometimes when we're aware of what's going on in the world, you know. But anyway. So next we're going to be getting into the rest of my album collection. So this is Lexi Lu's The Happy Star. This may look like a vinyl, but it's not. It has there's a CD in here, which is kind of confusing, I know. I will show you. So, as you can see, there's a CD. And that is an official CD, by the way. It purposefully looks like a home mixtape that someone's made, but no, that is official. That was an intentional style choice that they made. Lexi Lu is a Chinese artist, and so all of her music is, well, it's in multiple languages actually. So she'll sing some of her songs in Chinese, and there'll be bits of English in there and bits of other languages. And it's very experimental, very, very interesting stuff. This is one of my top favourite albums as well. It's really unique. I don't think you're ever going to hear anything like it out there. She mixes traditional Chinese sounds and traditional Chinese music essentially with electronic music. And it's really interesting. It really works really well, and it's absolutely fascinating. And also the aesthetic she has going on is very Y2K, which is really cool. I love this album. I had to import this from China because Lexi Lu is an indie artist, and she doesn't have an international release of this album, at least not that I'm aware of. She might have released an international version since, but probably not. At the time, this was the only version of the album you could get, so I had to import this from China. I had to pay a silly amount of money for this. The album itself wasn't expensive. It was the shipping from China, because I had to use a proxy service, that was ridiculous. So I wouldn't do that again. Next I have DPR Ian, Dear Insanity. DPR Ian is another independent artist. He is South Korean / Australian, and his music is very experimental, really interesting. He's honestly a really good, phenomenal writer. He writes all of his music himself. He's pretty much the sole writer on all of his music. My favourite songs on this are Welcome to the Other Side is probably my top favourite. It's amazing. It's like I can't remember how long it is. It's maybe like 6 minutes or something, but it's quite a long song, or maybe it's more like, it's between 4 and 6 minutes. I can't remember exactly. It's just been a little while since I've listened to it. But it's this song that's very like instrumental focused, and it builds very gradually throughout the song. It's really, really good. I really love that song. It's so... I really love music that has quite an emphasis on the instrumental, and music that kind of progresses and builds gradually. I really like that sort of music. Don't Go Insane is another one that I really love on this album. Those are my two favourites basically, but the whole album is really good. Right, so next I have a few Bring Me the Horizon albums. I have That's the Spirit. This is my favourite Bring Me the Horizon album. So my favourite songs are Throne, Avalanche, Drown, and Oh No. Then I have, I can never remember, Post-Human Survival Horror by Bring Me the Horizon. Again, really like this album as well, obviously. Kingslayer featuring Baby Metal is my favourite song on this. Post-Human Next Gen by Bring Me the Horizon again. This one, my favourite songs are Top 10 Statues That Cried Blood, Limousine. Yeah, those two are basically my top favourites. I really like how this is kind of reminiscent of a PlayStation 1 game case, like with the black label on the back a little bit. It kind of reminds me of a PS1 game case. And the CD is really cool, look at that. And this is also really giving PS1 horror game vibes. I don't know if it's just me, maybe it is just me. Then I have Baby Metal. So this is the only Baby Metal album I have. It's the other one. Time Wave and Metalism are my two favourite songs on this. Then we have Maisie Peters. Maisie Peters is a British artist. Her music is quite reminiscent of Taylor Swift, I would say. But she's definitely got her own sounds. Like, she doesn't sound... Like, her music doesn't sound like it's literally a Taylor Swift song. She definitely has her own sort of sound going on, but it is somewhat in that same vein. So if you like Taylor Swift, there's a good chance you'd like Maisie Peters. So my favourite songs on this are Body Better, Lost the Breakup, Therapy, and There It Goes. Although I also really like The Band and I. This album is really good. I really like this album a lot. Then we have some Shardai, Diamond Life. I love this album. My dad is really into Shardai. He really likes her music, and he's essentially kind of gotten me into her music as well. Shardai, if you don't know, is a jazz funk artist. So her music is jazz, but it has kind of a funk kind of element to it. It's really good. Honestly, to be honest with you, her albums are some of my favourites to just put on and listen to, because I suppose in a way her albums, like her songs, all kind of sound really quite similar, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's kind of a good thing. It's all very kind of uniform, and it really flows amazingly well, and it makes it like a really good listening album. From top to bottom, it's very consistent. Just really, really good. I think Cherry Pie is my favourite song on this. Obviously Smooth Operator is a classic, but and I love that song as well. But Cherry Pie is probably my favourite one. Love that album. My dad has that album on vinyl, I think, but I wanted to have it on CD, so... And then I have Shardai Promise. Love this album as well. I basically switch it up between whether I listen to Diamond Life or Promise. When I feel like listening to some Shardai, I'll be like, last time I listened to Diamond Life, so this time it will be Promise. But yeah, those are the two albums of hers I have. Then I have North Lane, Obsidian. This is my favourite metal album. I haven't done extensive listening to metal bands and stuff. I haven't checked out a huge amount of them, to be honest with you. My brother was really into Bring Me the Horizon and North Lane in particular. They're his two favourite metal bands. And I, after getting into One OK Rock, started kind of getting into metal music a little bit. Because for me, metal music used to be way too intense for me. I did not used to like it. But after getting into rock music through One OK Rock, I then kind of started enjoying metal music, which I did not expect to happen. If you'd have told 16-year-old me that once you reach the age of about 26 you're going to start liking metal music, I would not have believed you. I wouldn't. My music taste as a 16-year-old was really quite different. For one, I was really heavily into K-pop. I pretty much just exclusively listened to that. I still like K-pop, but definitely not to the extent I used to, and I don't really listen to it a huge amount anymore. I have a bunch of K-pop albums still that I want to get rid of. I have a lot of them because I went a bit crazy collecting K-pop albums, which I kind of regret doing because the amount of money I've spent on K-pop albums must be absolutely ridiculous, but it's done now, so all I can do is try and get some of my money back by trying to sell all of it, and I am going to sell all of my K-pop albums. The only album, I think, K-pop wise, that I used to have it, and I'm kind of mad that I sold it. I don't know why I sold this album, but it's FX's Pink Tape. I like that album a lot. Anyway, that's a side note. North Lane, Obsidian, my favourite metal album. But my favourite songs are Abomination, Is This a Test, Nova, and Cypher as well, which is the song before that. Obsidian and Dark Solitaire. Really great album. I really like North Lane, and I would like to get their album Alien as well. I'll probably have to order that online because I never see it when I go into an HMV. This is the only North Lane album I ever see when I go into an HMV, which is fine because I love their album, but I also would like to get their album Alien or Aliens. I can't remember if it's plural or not. Next I have Rosie by Rose. So Rose is a member of Blackpink. Blackpink, I was a really, really big fan of Blackpink for years. Pretty much since their debut until probably up to about a year or two ago. I still really like Blackpink. It's just that I don't consider myself to be like a fan anymore. I don't feel like as in one of those people that buys merch and all the versions of their albums, because I did do that. I used to buy all the versions of their albums, but now I just don't really listen to their music anymore, which is why I'm going to sell all of the Blackpink albums I have. I mean, I listen to their stuff sometimes, so I might end up just selling all of the albums I have and then just getting the standard dual cases of their 2 full-length albums. Which sounds silly, but I don't have the dual case versions. I have the bulky, big, inconveniently sized versions of their albums. That's the thing with K-pop albums as well, is K-pop albums are cool in terms of the packaging, but I don't like the sizes. They're all different sizes and all different shapes, and trying to store them is an absolute nightmare. So I've decided that I'm only buying CDs in dual cases. I'm not buying anything else. Like, the only exception is this. Because of how much I love this album from top to bottom. And besides, it can live with my vinyls, so you know. So yeah, Rose is a member of Blackpink. And out of all of the girls, because all of the members have gone on to do like solo work, Rosé is my favourite in terms of like the music, and I guess as a result she's now my bias. I mostly listen to the first half of the album. I don't listen to the second half that much, to be honest with you. I really like Number One Girl. That's a really beautiful song. 3 AM, Toxic Till the End, APT and Game Boy are my favourite songs on this album. APT was a very big hit. You've probably heard that song before because it's been on the radio everywhere. It's the song that goes ah patu ah patu ah patu ah patu. You know that one. Then we have Tears for Fears, The Seeds of Love. This is a phenomenal album, and Alita Adams features on this album. She's an amazing singer, amazing vocalist. I would really like to get her album Circle of One. I think it's called Circle of One. At least one of the songs on the album is called that. I would really love to get that album because I love that album. This album is fantastic. My dad, again, is really into Tears for Fears. Me and my dad bond over music quite a bit, actually. My dad is very into music. Really, like, me and my dad are kind of... We're the two... Well, my brother really likes music as well. My brother's the one who got me into metal, pretty much. But me and my dad like to sit down and kind of play each other music and, you know, and kind of analyse music together almost, in a way. So, yeah. Woman in Chains is my favourite song on this album. It's so powerful, that song. It's amazing. And then the last album I have is Being Funny in a Foreign Language by the 1975. The 1975, for as controversial as the lead singer is, he's an interesting guy, let's just say. I love their music, especially this album. I absolutely love this album. Happiness and About You are my two favourite songs on this album. When I first heard About You, I think I ascended to another plane of existence, to be honest with you. It's an amazing song. I highly recommend you listen to that song. And also I love Looking for Somebody to Love. I love that song as well. Old Caroline and I'm in Love with You are the other favourites on that album. So yeah, I've gone over all of them. That is all of the CDs I have. Anyway, thanks for watching. And if you collect CDs, or honestly, actually just in general, we all listen to music, I'm sure, so let me know in the comments who your favourite artists are or your favourite bands. If you have any song recommendations or any artists that you recommend to me, I would actually really like that. I would genuinely check them out. I'm always up for music suggestions. So yeah, anyway. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!